imagine, if you will, you're a liberal, you're a leftist, hardcore leftist, who knows that basically the Supreme Court is everything for you. It's the means by which you actually get to impose, improperly, unethically, and wrongly, your warped worldview on the rest of American culture by a bunch of, I don't know what you would even call them anymore. Popes on parade there in the Supreme Court building. They're not judges anymore. They're like little gods. And so the liberals, the left, has determined and has resigned themselves, in a sense, to the fact that that's their path. That's how they get what they need to get done in the culture, is through the court, through the Supreme Court. That's how you get things like gay marriage, which otherwise would not have happened in the United States, and any number of other things that are destroying the culture. So that's the leftist linchpin. So if you're one of those people and you've just endured the Kavanaugh hearings and you lost, you did everything you possibly could. You lied and you advocated lying about the man's character. You cast aside and happily, proudly trampled fundamental basic concepts of fairness, justice, the presumption of innocence, things that are required to have anything resembling a civilized culture or civilization. You just jettisoned all that, and you lost. You still lost. Kavanaugh is on the Supreme Court. Then you have a midterm election where not only do you not get your blue wave, but the Senate, the same Senate that confirmed Kavanaugh over your everything attempt, your scorched earth, blow up the world approach, the Senate still confirmed Kavanaugh. And then in the midterms, they expand. The Republicans gain multiple seats, so they're in an even better position, a much better position to potentially confirm another Supreme Court justice should Donald Trump have that opportunity in the future. And now, what we have, and I'm going to read the AP story here. After those two things, if you're a leftist, the news today that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is hospitalized after breaking a few ribs in a fall. This has to be pretty terrifying, and which is why, of course, I think it's very enjoyable and good and beautiful in many ways. But the AP article, I'll go through that briefly, and we'll cover a couple other, I think, relevant thoughts. Ginsburg, 85, hospitalized after fracturing 3 ribs in the fall. 85-year-old Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg fractured 3 ribs in a fall in her office at the court and is in the hospital, the court said Thursday. The court's oldest justice fell Wednesday evening, the court said. She called Supreme Court police to take her to George Washington University Hospital in Washington early Thursday after experiencing discomfort overnight, court spokeswoman Kathy Arberg said. She was admitted to the hospital for treatment and observation after tests showed she fractured 3 ribs. In her absence, the court went ahead Thursday with a courtroom ceremony welcoming new Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who joined the court last month. President Donald Trump and new acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker were on hand. Ginsburg has had a series of health problems. She broke 2 ribs in a fall in 2012. She has had 2 prior bouts with cancer and had a stent implanted to open a blocked artery in 2014. She also was hospitalized after a bad reaction to medicine in 2009. Okay, so we see where things are going here. This is an awesome moment. And the way it's all coming in such condensed form, Brett Kavanaugh just happened. And in the tiny amount of time between when Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed through that nightmare scenario where the left revealed itself as the pure force of evil that it is, then we have the midterms where the Senate majority on the Republican side is expanded, and now we get this. So savor this moment. Join me, please, in praying and hoping for the replacement of Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a much more conservative, biblically oriented mind, someone there who will defend the unborn, who won't prop up the imaginary right to murder children with impunity for convenience. I mean, that's what America's become about because we've allowed the fundamental warping of certain constitutional systems and approaches to a point where now basically these judges, these Supreme Court judges, are little gods, that they own everything, they control everything, they legislate, they really have been allowed to become something well beyond anything imagined by the founders who drafted the documents that are supposed to define their role. So all that being said, enjoy the moment. Let's hope that one way or another, either Ginsburg comes to light and starts acting like a sane, responsible human being, or that the Lord might remove her from office, and that this next step might be taken, a step that let's hope produces a significant positive change in the Supreme Court, so that we might preserve some of the few freedoms that we have left, and maybe even turn the corner and take some of our lost liberties back, including saving these unborn babies from being murdered by the millions, 1 million plus every year in this country. We call ourselves the land of the free, the home of the brave. We murder children like nobody has murdered before, people. I mean, it's something to keep in mind. It should humble us, and we don't want to be proud and puff out our chests and act like we're somehow better than Ginsburg. We've chosen things, and we've endured things, and we've looked the other way at systems, and we've justified the ongoing just rot that's brought us things like Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the decisions that she's been involved in that have wrecked the culture. So let's appreciate this moment. Be sure and share with all your liberal friends, all the leftists that you know. Strike up a conversation about this. Boy, have they heard. Because you want to be sure they've heard. We want to help make their day. Get this news to them. Just in case they don't know, we want them to know that, Kavanaugh is in. Yeah, these Republicans just expanded their majority in the Senate, where Supreme Court nominees have to go through to get to the court to be seated. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg seems to be shuffling her way out of the Supreme Court. That is a very good thing, unless you're a leftist who needs the court to make the wicked, crazy laws you could otherwise never impose upon a culture. So yeah, things are heading in a good direction. Keep that in mind. Share it with your liberal friends. We live in interesting times. If you appreciated this video and you want to support what we're doing, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the little bell icon so that you can be notified every time we post a new video, which we're hoping to do regularly on a daily basis from here on out on this subject and related subjects. Thank you very much for your support. Without it, we can't continue to do this.